That's him right there, though.
I got that fire. I got that fire. I got that fire. Fire, fire, fire. I got that fire.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Back for the first time. It is the Big Black Sports Show on a Tuesday night, featuring myself, yours truly, Kevin Barnes, aka the Negro Whisperer. And I have a new co-host this year, and I'm going to introduce him to you as we go along. But we're going to do this hopefully consistently on Tuesdays, depending on my brother's schedule and how consistent we can get with the show. But I think it's very important that we talk about sports from a Black perspective, a foundational Black American perspective, if you will, because I believe sports is one of those things in America that kind of binds everything together, whether you Black, white, Hmong, Asian, Japanese. You have, especially if you're a male, you have some sport that you like and you support. And it's the cause of conversation for us in particular in our barbershops and throughout the community. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce my co-host for the Big Black Sports Show, Season 2, Mr. Jordan. What's going on?
What's up, Kev? How you doing, man? I thought you would think that was funny, the anti-media.
Right. Tell these people who you are and what you do, man, so they can get a gist of who you are and what you bring to the show.
Absolutely, man. For everybody that doesn't know who I am, my name is Ian C. Jordan. I'm part owner of a company called News Undone, and we're a political media site. We do a lot of things from a right-wing perspective, but we really are more so independent far as on the level of thinking wise. And we just really literally, man, just try to put out media that's truthful. In addition to being truthful, just more factual than anything else. But that's pretty much it. Far as in regard to the whole sports thing, my uncle played for the Broncos. My cousin Carlton Williamson, he played for the 49ers in the 80s. Got 3 Super Bowl rings. I've always loved football, and like Kevin, he used to play, obviously. So that's where my background comes from. And my grandfather, you guys can look him up on Boxing Rec. Walter Jordan, he was a professional prize fighter.
So you come from the DNA, right? You got it's in your
blood.
blood.
Oh yeah, brother. Exactly. See, I should have just said that.
No, but you were an athlete. So I played, obviously. I played
a little bit,
but you've had some athletic exploits as well. Tell the people about that.
Oh, absolutely. Far as especially from the combat aspect, I've been training for over 20 years. I was at Chose. I'm at the YMCA right now. I was with their Dragons program. Far as martial arts, did a lot of that. Played basketball at a pretty good level. I actually, when I was younger, played with Jalen Johnson's dad. His name is Roderick Johnson, and Jalen he plays for the Hawks now. What's up, Jalen? Doing pretty good. I think he might be starting this year. So hopefully maybe 6 man. I'm not sure about starting. I take that back. But yeah. So I got a little bit. I used to write for the Wisconsin. Actually, Kev, you might notice the Milwaukee Community Journal. That was the first place that ever let me write. And I started writing actually about the Green Bay Packers, who I already know that you have something to say about today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. It is what it is, bro.
Ian is anti-media. So welcome to the show, man. Shout out to Rick Muhammad, my brother Ram. He's in the chat room. He said peace. Deacon Mikey Davis, his neighborhood all day, every day. You know what it do, man.
Oh, what up, bro?
Christopher Stokes. He said, what up, broski? What's going on, man? What's going on? Welcome to the Big Black Sports Show. If y'all want to get involved in this conversation, it's 262-202-5131. Once again, 262-202-5131. All we ask is that you share the show. And catch us tomorrow night. We'll be on for Outlaw Radio, which I got to get Ian on Outlaw Radio. So
man,
that's gonna happen too. We got to get you on there too. We do
that
Monday,
interesting.
Wednesdays, and then we got this on Tuesdays. But you said right wing, and so I think this is important to where I'm at with it, because when I say we're the party poopers, we poop on both parties, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Because we are egregious, and this is our thing on Outlaw Radio. We say both sides have been egregious in their treatment of us in the foundational Black American community. So this brother, politically, a little bit different than how I roll, but still similar in a lot of ways. And we've had these kinds of discussions. So I'm sure that will matriculate its way into our conversation about sport. And so, but this is also another example of brothers can sit down and discuss common grounds instead of discussing differences. Because
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to sit and talk with you about our political differences for 2 hours, but we can damn sure build for 2 hours and talk about where we do agree at. Big picture politics, aka being on code. If you're on code, let us know. Hit us up. Get in the chat room. Get comfortable. Not gonna keep you all night. This won't be like Outlaw Radio because I really, with what I do sports wise, I really just touch on sports that Black people are interested in, right? Like, so I'm rarely on golf, even though I know some Black people are on that. Rarely don't touch baseball, NASCAR, unless it's something interesting going on. But primarily, I'm gonna do the meat of the football season, and I'm gonna do the basketball season. We usually will go until from football until basketball is over, and then we get into that lull for Black people sports, right? But we'll see how things go.
You funny, bro.
Right. I'm not really gonna be reporting on hockey on here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
that's excelling on the ice, and he needs recognition. But what sports? What is this about? And this is another thing. In a state like Wisconsin, and correct me if I'm wrong, my brother, because I know you're very knowledgeable in things like this. I believe Wisconsin is 86% white, right? Like in terms of its race makeup, right?
Yes.
And so we make up probably about, and I'm speaking of foundational Black Americans, probably 8% of the state, 8 to 12%.
And that's in Milwaukee.
Right. 85% of that population is in southeastern Wisconsin. But we cheer for the Green Bay Packers in the Fox River Valley, about 2-3 hours north of us, something like that, 2 hours north of Milwaukee. Still got beef with the Packers because they don't play in Milwaukee anymore. You can go to London and play, but you can't bring your ass to the city. But that's a different conversation. So what's during this time? This is Packer country. This is where we live, eat, and breathe. Most of us, not all of us, about the Packers. So we're gonna start off talking about the Packers tonight. But with everything we talk about, we're going to talk about the racial connotation that's attached to it. And that's why I got my brother here, because he, like myself, is somewhat of a social scientist.
Oh yeah.
What they call us social critics, if you will, right? And so when we talk about Green Bay, we talk about this city that is majority white, in the state that's majority white. And people, a lot of times my brothers and sisters get down on me and say, dude, how can you cheer for the Packers, man? How can you do this? Like, they don't want to never pay brothers. There's all kinds of stigmas, but I just have to tell people I was born and raised in Milwaukee when we really ain't had nothing else except the Bucks, right? When the Bucks in the 80s, I'm old. We in the 80s, the Bucks all we had. They get the playoffs. Packers wasn't shit. Brewers wasn't shit. Admirals ain't even, they was still like a high school team, right? Like Mark was on the dry spell because Al McGuire had been gone. So we tend to run with the home team. So before we get into it, understand I'm aware of the hiring practices of the NFL. I'm one individual who's still pissed off about Colin Kaepernick being ostracized because of something that was then proven to be true. And then the NFL jumped on board and tried to establish these social justice campaigns and let them wear shit on the back of their helmet and their shoes and all of that. But this brother never really got to throw the ball again. So I know you say he got paid. Well, he should have gotten paid because he was able to prove collusion on the part of the NFL. Now we talk about the hiring practices of the NFL, the lack of Black ownership, the lack of Black executives, a league where I think about probably 80-90% of the athletes are men of color.
Yes.
And so they've been allowed to get away with a lot of shit. It's the Billionaire Boys Club. I mean, you got to figure NFL owners are power brokers, oil men, right? Like they're real moguls who own corporations and stuff like that. So you look at Robert Kraft, my man in Cleveland, he had to go and get all kinds of therapy and get sued by 50 different women. Robert Kraft got caught in a hotel getting shit beat off and walked. And then charges off. And it was like nobody even talking about it, right? Deshaun Watson still going to therapy, right? Like, goddamn. So there's some differences. I know. So I just want to point that out. And I know so I'd like to know when you look at sports, do you see the social context of it, or you just say, nah, I'm just gonna have a good time and watch the game? It ain't that serious, Kevin.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Kevin. It's very hard for me personally, especially watch the NFL. The only reason I started watching the NFL again is because I knew we were going to be doing this. To be honest, it's just hard to know that it's so many talented African American coaches just as far as in the ranks, and for them not to, it seems like they don't have an opportunity because correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't a couple of years ago where there was a text chain that went out and Bill Belichick was actually part of the text chain congratulating another coach basically for having a job when they didn't even go ahead and they didn't even look at the other applicants. That's been going on since, I mean, for many, many years in the National Football League. And don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful league. You play football at a pretty high level. I've enjoyed it. I've had family members play it. To be quite frank, man, the hiring practices in the National Football League are atrocious. And I think that, I mean, it's hard for me to say, well, you know what, we shouldn't watch it. Because what happens if we don't watch it, brother? The players, they get penalized for it financially, fires monetarily. We should support the NFL. We really should. We should watch it. We should stream. We should stream as much as we can stream. We should go to NFL on YouTube, click the video so these brothers can get paid. But I'm telling you, man, it's just when I see it, it's hard to look past that, to be honest with you.
You are
Very hard.
entirely correct. And football saved my life, and I say it all the time in regards to
Yeah.
the fact that I was a young black male who grew up during the crack epidemic, and things wasn't looking bright. I jumped off the porch early, had gotten myself involved in some shit I shouldn't have been involved in,
Yeah.
and I got to the point where I couldn't see the forest for the trees. So I got lost, and football saved my life, which is why I still watch it because I enjoy it. But I watch college.
Yeah.
I watch, I've coached on many different levels, and I was fortunate enough to play some small college ball. I didn't go to Purdue or nothing like that, but I mean, I had a pretty good career. I'm not crying about it. It was pretty good. But I still have to recognize, and if you love something, you have to be honest. So I still have to recognize what's going on with the NFL. So, like you, a couple years back, I was protesting, but I got to watch the Packer game because I've been doing it since I was 8 years old with my dad. Growing up, it was something that we did. I still do it, and I've done it with my son, who also plays. So I said all that to say, yes, this is the one thing. I always talk about the coon in me, right? Because everybody want to call somebody else a coon and talk about, Uncle Tom, what about the coon in you, right? What coon shit do you do, right? Like, and for me, I watched the NFL. Now, what I did was I don't buy merchandise. Don't have a Packer jersey. Don't have anything with Packers on.
No.
I usually don't watch any of the other games. I only watch, not that I even have to explain this to anybody, but I watch the Packer game, and that's it. Shout out to Rick. He said, right, peace, Kevin Barnes. Oh, that's Paris LaShawn out in Denver. What's happening, man? Yeah, you out there with the Broncos, so that's a whole other show. Y'all got it worse than us almost.
Ooh, don't even start talking about that. That got the bad end of that trade. Wow. Right. Well, or whatever it was.
And shout out to MC Tone. He said pimping saved his life, right? I hear you, MC Tone. MC Tone.
I love your people, dog. Your people are your fan base.
You'll get the Outlaw Consortium time. What Kev on? Oh, and MC Tone said, he said, pay me $40 million. I'll keep the ball like I catch a case. Right? So
I love it. That's hilarious.
Take it all the way to the neighborhood when we talk about sports. So I got all of that out the way. We talk about football. I absolutely hate the Badgers. I hate the University.
I know you do.
I hope they lose every game for the rest of their existence. I don't care who their coach is.
Brother, they actually might this year. They look horrible, dog. Leonard is not what they thought Leonard was. No, I'm just playing. He just stepped in. I'm just kidding.
They look vanilla.
Yeah.
And they are vanilla. Think about it like this. The University of Wisconsin, one of the Badgers, and we're not going to count Russell. We're not going to count Russell. We'll give him
he transfer.
When he was there, he wasn't the brother, the most brotherest of brothers. We're talking about pre-Sierra Russell. So Russell probably didn't know he was black when he was on there, but when he was in Wisconsin. But when was the last time you seen a black quarterback at the University of Wisconsin-Madison? All right.
Oh, never. Right. Never. No, that never happened. Yeah. No.
All right. And the focal point of their recruiting class is North Upper Peninsula. They go everywhere. There's been a lot of criticism, even when I was in high school, from Barry Alvarez, who spoke down on the inner city in city conference football. which is some of it was justified. But I'm saying if you see the problem, why not be a solution to the problem? You got the status. Why wouldn't you help?
Yes.
But that's one thing. And then there's look, minorities make up 3% of this huge university. So what you got is situations where they have copy and pasted. Hold on, I can't. I'm getting some interference. I can't hear. Okay, so they've copied and pasted minorities on their undergraduate catalog to make it look like they have diversity there. Nobody says anything about it. I call them on it. I hate them. I'm glad their coach got fired. And I like when they play a team like Ohio State, where you got brothers who can play all over the field. They absolutely run dogs on them. So I don't know if you like. Madison or what. I just had to throw that out there. I'm probably gonna talk about their games when they lose, and really don't say nothing when they win.
You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. But I do not really watch Madison like that. And part of the reason is the similar reason why I got an issue with the NFL. We have so much black talent in the state. I don't understand why they just can't go ahead and get one of these quarterbacks from Washington High School, Marshall High School, Juno. I don't even care where you go, but at least take a look at them. I mean, it's nuts. I've never seen them even seriously pursue a top flight player from Wisconsin. Never. I've never seen it. So
now I played against a brother by the name of Demetrius Brown, who played for Milwaukee Vincent, who was ridiculous. I'm talking about quarterback, 6'5", running 4.5, 4.4, could throw the ball. Yeah, my senior year we played them. I went to King. We played them for the city championship. He was able to go to Wisconsin, but they switched him to receiver and then to safety. And I think he did get a cup of coffee in the NFL. Now, the one thing about playing the quarterback position is that it takes really refined skills. So I do understand that, when we talk about, and I coached for 10 years in the city conference here. And I know that the city conference does not do a good job at building programs. The city of Milwaukee doesn't do a good job of building football programs. The investment in football is not there like it is in basketball. Because God forbid a city of Negroes goes up north to Great White, Wisconsin in the WIA playoffs and put it on a white team 55-6. How they gonna get out the town, right? I'm just saying. People say, Kev, everything ain't racist. Do the math. Okay? Because again, you're talking about the University of Wisconsin-Madison, who has good noodles and oodles of money. If you see a problem in the hood with those poor black kids and you say, I'm about talent, you come down to the city, you start doing clinics. You send your assistant coaches, you donate equipment, you donate time, you help them understand how to develop talent. So, the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we had a little thing back in the days. I'm aging myself, but one of my favorite groups back in the days was Compton's Most Wanted. And they had a song called Duck Sick. At MCA, you can get the duck sick. So that's what I always say about the University of Wisconsin. You can get the duck sick. You figure that out. Rick said the NFL is a serious white financial plantation. The imagery of the NFL with the whole combine for testing body fat and Wonderlic and
you going there.
It just, look. I know I've seen this shit before, right? So it's and it's done by these rich, uber rich, 1% blue blood white men, old white men get to really buy and trade humans, buy and sell people. Like, I'll trade you 3 of your Negroes for I got a big buck over here who can run, jump, and who does he mean? Well, I give you 5 Negroes for him. We got to trade. Right. Say, what the fuck just happened? Now, brothers say, well, we make millions of dollars. I'm gonna follow this up by saying, first of all, the research states that 85% of professional athletes, in particular NFL athletes, are broke within 3-4 years of them playing.
Yes.
Okay. The owner of said team can sell your jersey forever, depending on what the contract says about perpetuity. So he can get paid, and I don't know if the Players Association has negotiated where they can get a percentage from that. I do know if you play 4 or 5 years, you get a pension when you're in your 60s. But a lot of these brothers leave this game broken, bodies broken, brain damage. We know now about the CTE. So the NFL is still not being taken to task on their ultimate responsibility to us, right? and everybody in America owe us. I don't. White people say they think we owe them something. Y'all do. Everybody owe black people something in America. Give it up, everybody. I don't care. Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Irishmen, all of y'all line up and write a check for us. It's owed to us, right? Let's get it together. Okay, so enough of me race baiting. Let's talk about the Packers, right? And they look horrible this year, right? I got to give them this.
They do look bad.
On a football level. See, I know it looks bad to the average person who watches it.
Yeah.
As a person who knows football, they look really bad.
Yeah, they do.
Fundamentally, they look really bad. Like, and I figured they would struggle because of Devontae, who we're going to talk about as well, because they say Devontae is the reason for this calamity. Devontae, people say the Packers should have kept him. Devontae wanted out.
He didn't want to play with Aaron Rodgers.
We don't know because they act like they was best friends.
No, they wasn't.
Okay.
He said that though. Yeah. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to take the contract.
They actually offered him more money. They offered him more money than the Raiders did. And then people were saying, well, they offered it to him too late. Like they should have offered it to him off top. But I'm like, if you're mad at anybody, you're mad at the quarterback who demanded $200 million, who took up a majority of your salary cap.
Yep.
And then you was able to get paid. So you can't be mad at them. A check is a check is a check. But he hinted towards, I'm from California. So I, flying back and forth and flying my family back and forth is just can be a task. I'd rather just be out there.
I can understand that.
He said everything short of, man, I'm sick of these white people. I can't take this shit no more. I need to get back to somewhere where I could be around some black people. I can only take that so far because I've seen his wife and she's a white lady. So maybe he loves white people. I don't know.
You're so silly.
Some of us do, right? Like some of us really love, white ice is colder. So it's like, man, I just want to be over there. Give me some of that white ice. Give me no black ice in my drink. Give me some white ice. So, and I don't know him. I went. This is a connection. 6 degrees of separation. I went to school with a brother who actually. He's from East Palo Alto, where Devontae is from, and I went to undergrad with him in Minnesota. He played on the team that I was on. He actually was Devontae's peewee coach growing up. So
okay.
He coached him.
Nice connection.
Yeah, from a JIT, as they call it, all the way up until he went to Fresno State. So he's always, shout out to Troy Julian. He's always, man, since day one, like, man, y'all got my boy. So, and I know how Troy is, and I know I got a taste of what East Palo Alto is like, right? And it's not that different from Milwaukee. Troy was,
really?
Troy was a true character, right? He's a true character. So I could just imagine. So, he wanted to go, but Devontae's gone. So you go and you draft. You don't make any moves in free agency. You go and you draft what looks like a home run hitter from North Dakota State in the second round. You get Romeo Dobbs. You get a boy from Nebraska, Torrey.
Sammy Watkins, veteran leadership.
You bring him in, the off-injured Sammy Watkins. I mean, you can't. I never fault an athlete for getting hurt because you don't choose to get hurt. Your body break down. But for me, they stood too idle in free agency, and I was looking at it saying this is gonna be horrible. Like, especially since the majority of the throws and plays went to Devontae over the last 5-6. You just don't replace that.
No.
But the mantra that I've gotten from cats who've been in Green Bay and people who are in the know say, you can't bring a certain kind of black person to Green Bay to play for the Packers.
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't.
Right.
James Lofton.
OBJ, right? We're going to say OBJ is not coming to Green Bay.
No, absolutely not. He'll end up like James Lofton. He'll have some kind of case or some type of assault. And I don't know if the viewers, they know all about that. James Lofton, they try to say that he raped some chick up there, and apparently that never even was remotely close to happening. It's messed up, man.
If I remember the case correctly, he was supposedly him and some other brothers were actually here in Milwaukee at a club, and when the whole thing happened, but the other brother was a serious raper. Was Mossy Cade?
Yeah, it wasn't even James.
Yeah, but Monty K was out here straight taking it. It's like, get to me.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. Give it to me. Getting his Rick James on, bro.
Right. My partner friend who been in the pen told me they call them tree jumpers. So Monty K.
Oh yeah, they do.
Right, he's a tree jumper, right? But
gump.
Lofton luckily was able to rebound and move on with his career. I'm hearing he was a pretty wild boy, but I'm not saying I don't think that means rape. I think all athletes in your youth as a young athlete, you full of testosterone. You juiced up all the time, right? Like especially as a football player, your mantra is to hit people. That's what you do. Like as hard
So
as
you go try to hit the chicks.
well, man, you're just aggressive. Aggression is just kind of in you because it's hard to turn it off and turn it on. Like, you don't put me on the field and say, all right, for the next 3 hours, you got to survive. See those big 300-pound dudes, they going to try to wipe you off the planet. You got to be as violent as you need to be for the next 3 hours and not allow them to block you. And not only that, you have to beat their block. And this is from a defensive perspective. You have to beat their block and then hit the person with the ball. So this takes an elevated mind, like some savagery. So and then after the game, okay, it's over. Turn it off. Okay. Now it's time to calm down. I mean, I always tell a story about one of my last practices in college, and I was about 22. I was a senior in college, and a coach blew a whistle, and it was just automatic for me. I just went to running through the cones, and I said, "What the fuck am I doing? Am I a fucking monkey? Did I just take off running when I heard a whistle?" It was like, I'm like, nah, I think I need to do something different. I still love the game, but I was like, I don't want to run through bags when somebody blow a whistle. That's a little bit too much control for me to give to somebody over me. And
bro.
I was cool. Right. So when I came home and brothers like, man, I thought you was going to go pro. I'm like, I got a degree. I am a pro from now on. I got a bachelor's degree.
Getting paid. Professional.
I'm a professional now. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, the Packers are horrible. I want to talk about them. I want to know where you think the blame lies, because some people are saying Aaron Rodgers, some people are saying the defense, Matt LaFleur. When you losing, of course, everything's in the game. It's his mama fucked him up when he was little. You don't never know. So where do you see that is the biggest part of them losing as how they are right now? What do you think the biggest part of that is?
Kev, nobody wants to say it. To me, it starts at the top always. I think part of the issue is Aaron Rodgers. His passes are inaccurate this year, from what I've seen. Far as watching some of the like highlights, it looks like Aaron is trying to, quote unquote, as everybody would say, it looked like he's trying to do too much. The problem with Aaron is Aaron looked for Devontae for so long, and he was giving him all those targets. Now he doesn't know how to respond. He's already developed so many bad habits. Look at his mechanics. Look at how he throws the ball. Look at him like not really dissecting the defense like he used to. Man, he audible out of runs for Aaron Jones, dog. What is wrong with this dude, man? And on top of him audibling out of plays, the plays that they got designed, he can't even complete the passes because I don't know, the offensive line is horrible. So if I have to say, who does it start with? Now I'm gonna throw everybody off. Matt LaFleur. You gotta freaking create a scheme for the personnel you got, dog. It's really that simple, and he's not doing it. You know what, man? Maybe he's not as good as everybody thought he was. Maybe he's not that dude. I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, do you think he's that dude? I mean, I don't know. I can't even. It makes me so mad watching their sets, little big sets where they got the two tight ends or whatever, and then they trying to fake like they gonna run, then they just pass the Tunyon. Like, dude, just run the ball with dude. We know you gonna run. You got two good running backs. Just run the ball. That's my opinion.
Okay, and that's very valid. But I agree with you to a certain extent. I from personal experience, what I know is that it takes everybody to lose a football game. Okay,
good point.
There's never a situation where you can point to one play or one player and say, you the reason we lost. Even if the game was tied in the fourth quarter and I threw an interception and it was returned for a touchdown and the other team won, you can't say, well, you're the reason we lost, because why was the game that close in the first place? We had to have breakdowns in other parts of the game for it to be that close. All right. So I will say this, the NFL is this type of league. What they say, yesterday's prices aren't today's prices. Because you can come with an innovative, intricate, intuitive offense that nobody's ever seen before. These dudes are paid to beat you. Yeah. They will spend the entire off season, every week, they'll sleep in the stadium. These coaches, they live. This is how they pay their mortgage. So they're going to find something, the flaw in everything you do. So this coaching tree, this Shanahan coaching tree, this LaFleur and a bunch of other guys, young guys who were, the offense was very innovative for a minute with the use of motion and being creative and changing how we attack teams. But the NFL catches up to you, right?
Very quickly.
Remember, you referenced, well, you didn't reference it, but somebody referenced Joe Montana.
The Wildcat.
The Wildcat. For a minute, the Wildcat was popping, but then it was a wrap, right?
Yep.
But I'll go back further. People talk about Joe Montana and the 49ers and the West Coast offense.
Yeah.
The West Coast offense revolutionized the game.
It
totally
did.
changed football and how it was played.
Bill Walsh.
Yes. But sooner or later, teams figured out how to stop it, right?
Yes, they did.
Change at this position, change at that position. Right now, the spread is everything in football. College football, everything is RPO, run pass option. We're going to spread you out. It don't matter how big and strong you are. We're going to spread you out and distribute the ball all over the field.
The old run and shoot. It's similar.
Right. Once they figured out, well, you really have no power formations out of it. And if we just drop 4, we can cover everybody. It was done, right? It was done, right? So look,
that's a very good point.
Give me a fucking fullback, right? Like,
that's a very good point.
But those things come and go, right? Like, so
yeah.
We look at even in the wishbone and all these kinds of offenses that used to be old school football was the wing, like the I wing and all. You can't run that shit anymore. So what the NFL, what defenses have done is they've changed their athletes. So you want to spread me out? Now I go get defensive ends who can drop and cover, right? Now I play with
so simple.
Linemen and have 4 linebackers and 2 of them can cover. So that takes away your little slot action and all of that. And then I'll come up with a deep. Like I said, I'm only playing with three down linemen. I can still rush the passer and drop enough people in coverage to cover whoever, if I have the horses to do so.
Yes.
Game changes. You have to change with it. Matt LaFleur's offense does not look innovative at all. The past 2 years, I see him make some good calls, and I say that was a good call. That was a good formation. That was a good call. This year, it looked like he don't have a clue. So I will agree with you in that regard that Matt LaFleur got to get some straightening. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up this horrific defense. Listen, football is very simple. It's not rocket science. Here's how you win football games. You run the ball and you stop the other team from running it. That's what you got to do in order to win a football game. Now, I said it simple and made it sound simple, but it's not always that simple. But those are the basic fundamentals.
Yes.
The Packers can't stop the run, and they can't consistently run it. Aaron Jones is a hell of a back, but sometimes Aaron Jones is getting absolutely tattooed. He's not a big back. So people say, give it to him. You don't want Aaron Jones running the ball 20, 25 times a game every week.
That's why they drafted what's-his-face.
Down, right. That's why you got a big back. Now, I did see last week it was 4th and 2. You lined up in a shotgun. First of all, why you lined up in a shotgun on 4th down? And Aaron Jones is standing right here. It was 4th and 1, actually. They tried to do a pass to Romeo Doubs. He dropped it.
Oh, yeah.
In the press conference, that was absolutely the right call. No, it wasn't. You got a back right here who's averaging at least 5-6 yards a carry and he's always making big plays. Just turn and pitch it to him, right? Like, so that's LaFleur's part of it. Now, but Rodgers' thing with me is his arrogance has caught up to him a little bit. I love Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Yes, he is.
Shabby ass playoff record. But I don't put all of that on him because we've had some defensive meltdowns.
Yes.
But Aaron Rodgers is a little too arrogant. Like, by the fact that you didn't even try to come in the preseason and bond with these young receivers and put them up on what they're going to be encountering and build up some chemistry with them, that's a problem. All right. The fact that now, and I don't know what he's doing with this because I watch a lot of inside stuff. If you're not staying after practice with these young receivers, if you ain't going in that room, in that receiver room, sitting down with them, watching the film, like, hey, what you see here? Let me tell you something. This is how I'm doing. This is what I do. Then that's on him. It's a piss poor. Then I go to Gutekunst, the GM. You playing money ball, brother. I don't know if they remember what turned this thing around with Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre was a brother by the name of Reggie White. You broke the bank to go and get a brother, and he in turn, a valid free agent, and he in turn brought a bunch of other brothers here that made us a factor again. all of these games you playing where you're only gonna have certain type of Negroes and all this kind of shit because we don't want you to get in trouble in the Fox River Valley, then you'll be exactly what you are. So I think the blame goes around and around, but I gotta hang it on the majority of it is just a lack of offense. Their defense has, even though they've been shitty in some spots, they played well enough to win a lot of these games.
I was actually just about to say that I like their defense personally. That's just
okay.
me.
Okay.
You know.
I like some of the players on it. I think they were overrated, and I think anytime you give somebody a tag before the season starts in the league and say this is going to be the top ranked defense in the NFL, teams gonna come in here like we finna attack the shit out of these dudes. Talking about they gonna
you ain't lying. You ain't wrong. That's exactly what they're doing. Jair got caught on for a touchdown on Sunday. That was bad actually. That was real bad. Like, I mean, from your perspective, especially playing, as far as playing on college football, what did you think about that? When that was bad. I don't know how to articulate that because he's running. It looks like he's gonna at least make a play on the ball. Dude just extend and just catch on him and look at him like Punk was good. I'm like, damn, dog.
There's a lot of trash talking going on between Jair and Terry McLaughlin.
Oh, he can play. He can play. That kid can play.
He just got the bag in the offseason, as they say.
Yeah, that kid can play.
All right, he's a good receiver. But listen, this is the thing about football. DBs are gonna get beat.
Yeah.
There's no defensive back. Prime is the least beat corner that we've ever seen.
Daryl Green too.
It's only been one Prime though, and I haven't seen Prime get walked. I've seen, especially when he start getting older. I seen him get a couple times.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jair got caught, but also Tyler Heineke, whatever his name is, clean pocket to throw from, no pressure. Like what you got to put him on his back, and a couple times. These quarterbacks just step up and the Packers it's just wide open. They're running the ball. When they lost to the Giants, Jones was running. He had 90 yards rushing. Right? You can't give up 90 yards rushing to a quarterback and then you got a back, Saquon Barkley, who's got 150 receiving. That's too much. You got to take something away. So Jair, he did get walked. And I knew it was coming. We all know it's coming because you play cornerback. You're gonna get beat.
Right? Oh yeah, you are.
It happened. I feel like, come on, Jair. Like you supposed to be better than that, man. Like you getting the big money now.
I was gonna say he did get that big money too. So yeah,
he's got a rep. They look at him as one of the top tier corners. He was hollering after they lost to the Vikings. They should have been in man more. I didn't agree with the game plan. Yeah, I had covered Justin Jefferson. Yeah, you got walked by McLaughlin, right? Now, why did they let Za'Darius go? Mystery, because outside Gary. Your pass rush can be a little suspect at times, especially when the game is on the line. I've heard people say the offense is going 3 and out. The defense is tired. They're going to go on a long drive and have a long drive and get a stop. Then you go out there 1, 2, 3. They got to bring their ass back out there. I get that too. So, but the defense got to step up. Like you can't fold at the end of games. You can't allow no third and fourth string quarterbacks to just whoop your ass at will.
20 unanswered points. That's some Madden football. 20 unanswered points. I was in disbelief when I saw that. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay, they scored. Okay, they scored again. Oh yeah, Green Bay gonna stop. Hold on, they scored. What? Dude, it just didn't stop. The Commanders ain't that good, man. I mean, they're not that good. Neither were the Jets. Like the Vikings, I get that to them. The Vikings better than
Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers ain't that good, and you barely beat them. You feel me? Now, like you said, the Vikings caught them with.
Yeah, the Vikings good. They good this year. They legit.
And I hate to admit it because I hate Minnesota fans. They get on my
they get on my nerves too.
Worse than Cowboy fans sometimes. They never. They ain't never won a Super Bowl. Talk to Mo shit. Have you ever won one? No.
They lost 4. That's amazing to me.
In the 70s, though. In the 70s, they lost 4. They got the biggest history of choking. I remember the 90s was 97.
That's why they purple. I'm sorry. Sorry. That's not good.
That's cool. Right, Prince. Right. Soft butt cheeks, butt out jeans, and they ain't gonna win the Super Bowl this year either. They won't get out of the NFC. But yeah, man, so there's plenty of blame to go around with the Packers. I think right now, what has to happen is Brett Favre. I keep saying Brett Favre because that's who I'm thinking we need. I want to say, but if he didn't have the whole case going, stealing from welfare recipients and shit, damn, Brett, you fucked that up royally, didn't you? But no, Aaron Rodgers got
Jameis Winston is more of a criminal, though. Just keep that in mind. Jameis Winston, man, he stole them crab legs or whatever. That deserved to get more media attention than Brett Favre being part of a $70 million welfare fraud scam. I didn't even know that existed.
Possibly be illegal, and he said, "Well, shit, can you pay me without telling anybody?" No,
text messages.
You dumb
text
redneck.
Messages.
Send one of your chickens with the message on his leg or something with your redneck. You dumb redneck. What fuck?
Hey, are they gonna know where this came? Are they gonna know where this came from?
Nobody knows your number, Brett. Right? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, Brett had never committed no crime before, right?
I mean, no. That's how come I know he ain't never did no dirt because of that exchange.
Right.
Text messages.
Right. You should shit, Brett. Come on, man. But Mike Vick killed some dogs, so yeah.
Don't go there about Mike Vick. I remember that whole thing.
You killed some dogs.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. That's the hypocrisy that we see. That's one thing that we deal with in sports too. That always generates conversation is the double standards that white athletes face in terms of scrutiny versus black athletes. Right. So we see that. That's another. People say sports are a microcosm of life. In America, most of the time, whatever's going on in our society is going on within sports too, right? So it's no coincidence that we deal with a lot of racial subjugation as people of color, and in sports, same kind of treatment, right? Like, so you go on the road, you go to a game, you come out, you go NBA, which we're gonna get into pretty quickly. You walk out in Boston, you about warming up, nigger.
Sound like the NWA album.
Right. Fuck the niggers, right?
You a fool, bro.
Niggas for Life is my favorite NWA song ever, and I don't think people have ever paid attention to what that song says.
Yeah, that's real. That's one of the realest songs ever.
It's that, it's Cube, Us, is a couple rap songs that was made.
Cube, Us is the truth. That's the truth. Still to this day. I love that song.
Nothing Cube, and I love Cube is one of my favorites. Nothing he ever made can touch Us, right? Like this is like NWA. Even with Cube, nothing they ever made can touch niggas' life. That with the Don King thing at the end, and oh my goodness, man! It's a beautiful soliloquy, as they say. Y'all gotta forgive me. I'm the hip hop snob, man. I wax poetic over hip hop, man. It's the soundtrack to my life, the real hip hop, not this bullshit that we have to digest nowadays. But
man, you gonna knock the new music, man? You knocking the new music? You don't like the nonsensical nonsense? You're not with it?
The craziest shit is I'm a cheerleader for foolishness. Like I always say, I'm like that little boy. I like riding around in the car with my friends doing hood rat shit sometimes. But
I used to watch hood fights.
Right.
I used to I had every DVD.
I need diversity. I need to have some stupid shit over here and then have some smart shit. So like in the 90s, you balanced it out. I loved NWA, but I rocked with the Tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
PE, but I love the Ghetto Boys. It was balanced, right? I love the Dungeon Family, but I love Suave House. You know what I'm saying? So
Suave House was dope. Mr. Mike, they was my God. Tila, they had a nice team.
Yeah, Tony Draper. Shout out to Big Mike, man. I had Big Mike on here, and he was friends with Tony Draper, OG Big Mike, who was on Rap a Lot. He was real close with them. So, but I'm like I say, for every Pimp C for me, I'll listen to some PM Dawn now. Don't tell nobody. Like I can.
You just told everybody.
Oh shit! Did I say that out loud? Freudian slip, right?
Listen to PM Dawn.
Listen. The Die Without You from the Boomerang soundtrack is a hell of a song.
Die Without You.
Oh my God, man, that's a well-written song, man. I know.
Hold on, bro. I got a trivia song for you since you want to bring up PM Dawn. What was the rapper that punched dude in the face, kicked him off the stage?
We know the Blast Master threw him off the stage. We know KRS-One threw Prince B off the stage, right?
Why did he do that to PM Dawn, dog? I wish they had some footage of that.
People always say there's a legend of a VHS tape, but KRS-One has said himself, I've never seen it. And he said
Yeah,
that
Chris ain't never seen that.
people who were there say we never seen it. The people who were there say I seen it because I was there, but I never seen it again. But I've heard many different people who were there tell that story, and they deserved it because they was talking down on KRS-One at a time when you shouldn't have been. And
He
they
not
had
the
a different
one.
perspective.
He wasn't the one. He wasn't the one at all. Like not at all. He
Right.
could beat you rapping, and he could beat you to a pulp.
Well, they found that out. I mean, but once again, I think that there was a spirit in rap for what was legitimate back then that's just not here now because that won't happen now. What happened now is one rapper would rush the stage with 50 dudes and somebody get shot or whatever.
Oh yeah, all day.
And it ain't hip hop like that no more. It ain't, it's a different music because it's been bought and sold from us, right? And so when we talk about your brother, Ye, some point who owns and who manipulates is very true. And
when you're not a step and fetch it, they right at your head. They at your neck over that one. Yeah, that whole thing with Kanye is repulsive. It just took him to say something about the Jewish community or what they deemed as disrespect. They didn't shut him down completely. Ice Cube, don't say the J word.
Ice Cube has said everything under the sun, especially when he was rocking with the Nation. And he's backed off of it now because his career's gone in a different direction. And I think Ice Cube he realized some things. See, there's a lot behind everything, right? And when you start to see who's behind the curtain, right? Like I said, I tell people all the time, I seen the wizard, I seen his face, I seen behind the curtain. I'm like, I know it's Richard Pryor back there. It ain't who y'all think it is, right? When that ended my whole activism phase. Like when I said I'm tired of talking about this professionally, what I do is in my community, but I want to get out on the front lines, boots on the ground activism, grassroots organization. I did that, and once I seen what was behind it, I said I'm good. I'm straight.
No, exactly.
Y'all straight. Go ahead.
Don't even. I was gonna say, don't even start that debate because I don't think people really understand at those levels exactly what's going on. And that's in every form of entertainment. That's what activism. That's what almost everything. When you see how the sausage is made, it's horrible. It's like that whole BLM thing. Like for instance, for everybody that knows me, they know that I personally think Candace Owens is a house Negro. But I mean, I got evidence to support it. We don't have that much time. With that said, though,
that's some outlaw radio topics right there.
Oh yeah, but on the flip side, though, in regard to as far as the stuff she's saying about BLM. I hate the fact that two things can be true. She right about the manipulation of the money. She ain't wrong about that. She actually is completely on point with that. But far as the Ahmaud Arbery stuff and the George Floyd, to me, that's just a little too much for me to say anything positive about her because I really don't like her whole swag because she up there being a house Negro for them people over at what's the Daily Wire? I think she at the Daily Wire, wherever she is Turning Point. I got friends at Turning Point. But yeah, I'm not a fan of hers at all. They know that though. It's not like don't nobody know that.
Yeah, it's my goodness. The position that we're in this country, and this is where sports come in at. And I watched the whole Kwame Brown thing, and Kwame Brown made some good points about.
I love that dude.
Those because we have gatekeepers there as well, and because I get up in the morning and I watch First Take and I watch all these shows, and I really was on Stephen A. I really was mad. I really was like, well, I would say mad because mad is a little that I wasn't mad.
A little extreme. Yeah.
I was annoyed. Okay. Annoyed by him on TV.
Me too.
Until I realized when he got rid of Max Kellerman, it was for some purposes, some specific purposes, but he brought in Michael Irvin. He brought in a bunch of brothers. And so I said, but you know what? He's on code with that. So when he goes into his rant and rave, buck dancing sometimes, what you got to do to get them twos infused, I don't get as mad, right? It's just like with Kanye, the stupid ass shit you say about slavery was a choice. When you say the shit about George Floyd, when you supposedly allegedly calling, talking about somebody got a 10-inch penis and a white boy got a 10-inch penis with my wife. And when you talking about somebody putting sex bots in my house to sexualize my kids, and I got to push that over to the side and say, okay, what can I get from this? We call it chewing up the fish, spitting out the bones. The shit about the Jews, the shit about the way they do business.
1000% true.
It's all true. And no black person in this country does not know it. But we're acting like black people like, whoa, Kanye, don't do that. My only problem with Kanye is what he should have done is should have listened to my brother Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
Get your money right before you go to war. You don't go to war without no. Now I see all this billionaire. He got bread. And I kept telling people, you don't know how much money he actually has because net worth doesn't indicate cash on hand.
He not liquid no $1 billion. He might be liquid 200 or 300 million, maybe. And that's a stretch.
Well, one deal from Adidas, now you're only worth 400 million. You're not a billionaire anymore. So that lets you know this wasn't all cash. This wasn't like people think he's sitting on Kanye, a billionaire. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's hard for me to tell people this. Now, when the booking agency CAA drops you, right? We're gonna get back to sports too, y'all. But when CAA drops you, right, now that says, okay, well, we're not gonna handle your bookings anymore. You'd say, well, go to another place. Well, if that place does business with CAA, they're not gonna do business with you either because they're not gonna do a relationship, right?
Absolutely not. No.
So you say, well, I'm gonna go hire somebody, a brother who know his thing. He won't be able to get any traction because the doors will be closed, right? So
I already dropped the bag on him.
Right. So you should have been ready to go to war. It's like Colin Kaepernick. So if I can steer it back to sports, in certain regards, I felt like Colin Kaepernick, simply because the follow-up in terms of brothers supporting him didn't go like it should have. I think sometimes I say maybe he should have did it differently. Because what was supposed to happen was after he kneeled, every last brother in the NFL was supposed to have kneeled with him. They can't cut us all.
Nope.
Right? But some of them say, I don't want to know. Massa told me don't do that. Because some of them don't know nothing but football. That's all they've been doing their whole life. Like, what do you mean? I I'm gonna feed my family. Okay, well, guess what? In 3 or 4 years, when they fuck you over because you signed a contract and you got some guaranteed money up front, they said it's going to be 5 years and it's going to be $50 million. When they owe you that first lump sum payment, they're going to cut you. What you mean I'm cut? Well, we just decided to go in a different direction. They don't have to honor the contract because you all haven't stood for shit. So now you're going to want to run to us and say, they did me wrong. We're going to say, no, you feeding your family. Go feed your family. Bye-bye. Run along. Once again, we talk about Ice Cube saying you might have a heart attack when you find out the black folks don't want you back.
Exactly.
Ask Orenthal that. Like we had to show him the hard way. Like, no, Mr. Beverly Hills, go ahead, man. In the words of MJG, Mr. Mistaken, Mr. Do Nothing, Uncle Give Me Some.
You silly, bro. They just, man, I don't know. We just get so manipulated as a people. It's going on for so long, and it's really frustrating because to me it's obvious. But obviously your parents and my parents a certain way. Like my mom really had me look for things that were quote unquote not really seen to the naked eye surroundings, what to look for. Like for instance, people talk about the police and all this kind of stuff. My mom said, if you out here doing whatever, you need to stay off the radar. If they come out here at 9 o'clock, stay off the block. Be at your spot. Like those are the kind of lessons that these kids don't have now. They like, oh, I can be outside, I can do whatever I want. They better leave me alone. No, you're not no gangsters because gangsters move in silence. Ain't nobody trying to attract the attention of law enforcement. Don't nobody want to deal with law enforcement. Seriously, that's why Trump is ridiculous because, oh man, I jumped there again, but I was gonna say, you can't get mad at people for saying defund the police, right? You can't get mad at people for saying defund the police, which I don't agree with, by the way. But now you saying you want to defund the FBI. Come on, bro. Don't let me start talking about that because we'll be here all night, bro. I snap about that one. I actually get angry about that particular topic because it's so hypocritical. But yeah, man, we need to just start using our brains a little bit more. And these athletes, Deshaun Watson, same kind of thing. He really wasn't thinking, man. And to move it back to him, he wasn't thinking. I don't know.
And you know what? Deshaun Watson I think he affected by the thing that affects, once again, when you are a young, successful athlete.
Yep.
And especially in his position where you have millions of dollars.
Millions.
You're moving different. You move different. You don't move like it's easy for a dude who make $15 an hour to say, man, I'd have never done that shit. Because you ain't allowed access and privilege that he is. You're not even on his level. Like he can go.
No.
At that point, he could go in certain places through doors that you didn't even know existed.
Exactly.
Like you go up in the club and you be like, I ain't seen him come in. He didn't come in the same door you did, motherfucker.
No, he did not.
What are you talking about? So now I'm not excusing what he done, but there's proof and there's evidence that this behavior was enabled by the organization for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And once he
Absolutely.
said, "This some bullshit, I want up out of here," they said, "You sure?" Well, you know what I'm
You, you,
saying? Once
you
again,
better be careful, Kev.
we got the little hooker on tape, right?
You
Right.
better be careful, man, because
I'm
that's
just
so
saying.
true. They
So,
did
so
enable him. They did.
it's the same. See, this is what's happening to Kanye West is, and what happened to Colin Kaepernick. This the binds that tie. This is what brings it all together. What happened to them is both the same thing. I'm part of this system. I'm a beneficiary of this system. It's made me wealthy. It's given me fame. But when I speak out, this system swallows me, gets rid of me, and throws me away. It's look at we can go all the way back to Sam Cooke, the soul singer, Sam Cooke,
Oh yeah.
who a lot of people aren't aware of is a black man who's in the early 60s when it was unheard of in the Jewish-owned music business, the
Publishing.
Italian mob-controlled music business, saying, this is my shit. I wrote it, I sang it, I perform it, I want the money.
That's why they had him killed. Oops.
Thank you. It's the same old thing over and over. Martin Luther King, and we always say Martin Luther King is his rap name because his real name is Michael King, right? So Martin Luther King is his rap name, right? So we always say that on our radio, right? He was, as long as he was, no, y'all chill, no, y'all be cool, no, y'all be cool. It's okay. When he said this Vietnam shit, it's some bullshit, and this poverty shit that y'all got, it's some bullshit. They said, oh, you nigger,
Chimp.
right?
Shut up, chimp.
Go to weasel. And so on and so on and so forth. You look at our leaders who, or somebody who's tried to stand for something, step out on a limb and say, you know, I'm about to go against this shit. How many of them get shut down? Look at Prince. There's no way Prince is supposed to be found laying in the elevator with his pants halfway down, talking about he overdosed on fentanyl. This is one of the greatest musicians that we've ever seen. But what happens to him?
When his masters dies.
Then
That's how it always happens.
nobody has the key for.
What?
Right? Yeah, the vault in his house where all of the master music. Look at Michael Jackson, who I always say went full retard, right? And
same thing. But
Michael was very vocal against the music industry and the powers that be and what they were doing and how they would try to manipulate. So, and so I say to people, this is an ongoing thing. So what he's saying is factual and actual, as the 5% say, is right and exact. Right. So people have to look at that. And you know what I talked about tonight is the pressure. This is what they use to break you. It's what they use to fuck with Michael, because all of a sudden now LAPD running up in there, taking drawers off, take your pants off. We don't look at, they said you got a birthmark on your balls. He said they looked at my genitals. They looked to see when marks were on my genitals. Right. Damn, Mike, they did that to Mike.
Kevin, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not even gonna be on camera. Am I on? Can you guys hear me? Hi. I would like to thank you very much, Mr. Negro Whisperer, for having me on your program today. And what they did to me was very disgusting. Right. They had me stripped naked. No, I'm just playing. Let me stop. Right, I'm working on a skit.
Mike was on TV copping a plea.
I was like, what?
Penis. Like, Mike, you don't even let girls do that. Like, what? Mike, they violated me, but it was because he was talking that shit, man. They say, nigga, are you sure this what you want? Again, if you listen to Machiavelli, when Tupac says, you told me don't go to war unless I got my money right, and now I got my money right, and I won't
war.
Right,
and he ended up dead.
Well, he fucked him up. I ain't, the ends don't justify the means necessarily, but I'm just saying it was a good thing for, it was a good point about.
It was a very good point.
If you know you're about to go against this system, you don't do it because you're angry. You don't do it out of emotion. If you do get emotionally upset, or you get upset and you say, okay, I'm about to go against all these motherfuckers. You start getting your ducks in a row. Look, I need to secure my bread. I need to get this. I want to cancel that, because they're gonna all cancel you anyways.
Oh yeah.
It should have been a situation where Kanye was cashing out all his deals for about 6 months, and everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? We can't get Yeezys no more. And then Kanye came and said, yeah, I just want to tell y'all, I shut all that shit down because I'm about to go to war. I'm about to go to war with these motherfuckers, and I want to know who coming with me, because I got enough bread from cashing all this shit out to get something done. He didn't do that, and that lets me know it wasn't about us, and it wasn't about us getting free or empowered. It was about him and his his really sensitive mental health and
That's
his
a very good point. I
real,
like
you
that.
know, he's very fragile mentally. And so, you know, so that's why that is happening to him, but it's not the end of the day. You know, we'll see how this plays out. But once again, I said this: Kanye West needs us as foundational Black Americans. The problem is he's not on code, but he ain't on code with us. It ain't
No,
been
he
about
not.
us for a long time, right? It ain't, you know, you run around with this Armenian, you ain't gave a fuck about a sister in a long time. When you got rid of and you went and got you a big booty Black girl from Atlanta or something, you still run around with these little white girls. You still,
I
you know,
I
go
got,
ahead.
I was gonna say, I got a story for you. And that's gonna be my contribution with this show is the fact that I got one of my business partners, bro. He lives in Florida because, as far as our ticket brokers, the Premier Ticket, our base of operations is in Fort Lauderdale. So he trains with a boxer, right, dude? I'll get his name for you because I forget his name, but he's a Russian. But anyway, he's there training at the gym. What was the last chick Kanye was messing with? I
Some
can't remember. But
little white
bro, she was in there. The first time that Jay seen her, and Jay is a white boy, so it ain't about that. So he seen her, didn't even look at her. The next time he seen her, bro, he was like, dude, Kanye just be throwing away females. He was like, dude. But the one point I was bringing up is Jaden seemed like the last two chicks he didn't mess with. He said, man, because my white guy, my business partner, he's married. He's married to a sister. So he didn't really he don't really understand. Like, he's like, do Kanye not like black women? He actually asked me that. I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't really follow Kanye around, but I don't know. Do you think that Kanye just like got an issue with black women? I don't think so. I don't think you do.
I
I don't know
think
what do you.
I think once you get to a certain level, I think
Yeah,
once you take a certain path in life, everything becomes out of whack. Kanye was
I
super pro
I
black
agree
for
with
me,
that.
and he started out as the new consciousness that I thought hip hop was going. I said, okay, this is what I've been waiting on somebody to come back and really, because it was in the era of the whole bling bling and the dope dealer da 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 da. Kanye
Hmm.
came with his creative energy and it was coming out of Chicago and being socially conscious and being a different kind of brother. I said, this is it. But then that money got him.
Yes,
And
it
then
did.
his mom passed. And then it was, to hell in a handbasket after that.
What's
Shout out to
next?
Dion Cole. What's up with you, Dion? How you doing, my brother? He said he just wanted to stop in quick. Thank you for checking out the Big Black Sports Show. Share the show, my brother. Shout out to my co-host, Mr. Anti Media. what you call yourself?
I was
Anti
like,
Media.
Ian is anti-media. Ian C. Jordan. I'm anti-media. I'm not media, man. I'm different. They'll see it. They'll see as the show goes on. They'll
Okay.
see. Be a little
Now you
different.
got promote your shit too, because I don't want to. I'm not gonna keep you all night, but I want people to know that in
This
addition to being on here, you can be found in many other places.
Look, man. This is the thing for everybody out there. If you Google at Ian C. Jordan, you'll see everything that comes up. Man, I host the Apex podcast. I'm part owner of newsundone.com. We really just try to keep it as real as possible. Like, I work with people from all sides of the aisle. Excuse my podcast segments. The language is a little rough, but I am changing that because I want to be more friendly to the ears of young people. Apparently, I'm going to do that, but we're not going to do that shit on the Big Black Sports Show because guess what? Kevin's told me I can say whatever the fuck that I want. But that's down the line. He throws a big thumbs up. But yeah, man, we're everywhere in that regard. I do a lot of articles. The segments I really talk about a lot of stuff, and I really do go into a lot of this house Negro stuff and what to look out for because I know all y'all. But that's in Kevin's circle. I know y'all know, but I talk to a lot of people, like a lot of white people, and a lot of them don't really understand our plight and what we go through and how we see things. Like my mom, she was raised by a black woman that grew up in the Great Depression, so I look at racism a little bit different than the average person look at racism, and I look at all the contributions that black people have done to society. And Kevin, especially, and I know you know this because we've kind of had conversations about this in the past. The things that we've contributed to society, if unless you like really aggressively look it up, it has been credited by someone else, or in addition to it being credited by someone else, it doesn't exist. The stoplight, the fountain pen, the mailbox, the wrench was created by Jack Johnson, who was a professional boxer. Be proud to be who you are. And I'm gonna leave it at this. Our race, in my opinion, the energy I get from other people sometimes when you talk about the Holocaust, you can talk about that. That's okay. When you talk about the Trail of Tears, oh, you talk about that. That's okay. If you bring up slavery, nigga, shut up. Like, whoa, like, oh, you should get over it. Whoa, it's like, whoa, what are you talking about? And that's what I bring to the media. That's how come I say I'm anti-media, because that's what I bring to the media. Like that's what Kevin brings too. It's just a level of realness that honestly it doesn't exist, because you got these clowns out here that got these massive platforms that say whatever they want. You got these House of Negroes like Charlemagne the God that just consistently are going to spew the narrative. They're going to look like us. They're going to talk like us. But like Malcolm X always said, they plants. It's obvious. The way, dude, he calling Kanye a white supremacist, bro. That don't even make any sense. Kanye didn't say anything to be deemed as a white supremacist. He just said things that deemed him as one. I didn't think before I talked. He can't be a white supremacist. I don't even know how to put that into words. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's not a white supremacist. How is Kanye's black ass a white supremacist? Don't even make no sense.
Who said that?
Dude, Charlemagne the God. I'm gonna send you some stuff.
Okay. Well, you have to, and this is what we talked about last night. You have to understand.
Sell out.
You have to understand who he works for, who owns iHeartRadio, who owns the station that he's in. Like, come on,
Revolt. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, come on, and a lot of these celebrities, and even like black businessmen, like a Magic Johnson and all these brothers, they have so many deals with Jewish businessmen because Jews dominate business. It's not anti-Semitic for me to point out the obvious and say Jewish people have cornered the market on finances and law and all this kind of stuff and taxes and all this.
It's a monopoly.
Right. They cornered it. Am I anti-Semitic for saying that? Absolutely, positively not.
That giving them props for doing it.
Right. It's asinine for them to take this. And the fact that they are coming after him the way that they have been gives who he's talking about it gives him validity in what he's saying about them. They are this benevolent empire. Who else can do who the fuck gets kicked out of a bank?
Nobody, bro.
Is Rittenhouse kicked out of a bank?
Absolutely not.
Did they kick Harvey Weinstein out of a bank? Did they kick the one who hung himself in jail before? Was Epstein. Was he kicked out, or did the feds freeze his assets? But did the bank say? No, you know why? Because they loan his money out and make money off the interest they charge on it.
You know what?
So
I was gonna say you want to hear something that I think will probably make you mad. I worked for I'm not gonna say, but I worked for the bank. I was a micro business manager and an underwriter for the bank that he got kicked out of. Bro, Wells Fargo did business with Bin Laden, and they didn't kick him out the bank. Osama bin Laden. That was all on the news for, I don't know, a minute. Yeah. Right. They did business with quote unquote people on the top of the terrorist watch list. And Kanye gets kicked out of Chase? Come on, man. It's so frustrating.
All these corporations. Listen, and this is where we're all coons at. Because all you rappers with endorsements and all this shit, you should be standing right now with him saying, if y'all gonna drop Cuz, drop me too. I get it. You're getting money. I get it. But all money ain't good money. And when you
in a bucket,
you take those pieces of silver to betray Jesus, and I'm not talking about Kanye. I'm talking about the specific story of, he thought he was getting paid. And then he realized this little silver ain't shit compared to what I just did.
Yeah.
Right. So shame on them. Shame on all of them. That's why I don't look up to celebrities like they mean anything except for what they put out. That was a good movie, dog. That was a good ass movie. Yeah. Right.
That was a nice sellouts, half of them anyway, bro.
Right. I mean, your ass kissers, supreme du jour, as they say. Now, so I guess we'll finish tonight because as we move along, and I want to make sure you got time to, get to what you were doing. I know you was in motion. I want to have some conversations about fighting as we go ahead, but I got to talk about the Bucks. The Bucks are just getting started. It's about to, I hated to see it because the NBA season is too goddamn long to me.
Yes,
Right?
it is.
Like, how many games do you play? But
Exactly.
I know basketball cats is like, Kev, shut your ass up. You just mad because it ain't all about football.
Hey, I'm looking right now. People done turned it off right now after you said.
Right. Oh shit, they ain't fucking with it. They'll get back. It's gonna be playing all night. So watch it now, watch it later. Don't matter to me. You gonna watch it.
That's funny.
But the Bucks started at they're 2-0. They look good.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Bucks would be any good because I didn't see them really they didn't sign anybody. They drafted this brother who's supposed to be good, but I was thinking like, nah, they're not gonna be that good. Now, is it that because Middleton is not back yet? Correct? If I'm correct?
No, yeah, I don't think he's back yet. No.
Okay, so and that people saying they look so much better, they look good, they look healthy, they look refreshed. But is it because the NBA, the NBA, the East is so bad, or is it because the Bucks are really just like people are saying they might win the title? I'm like, what?
Yeah, they are. They should. They deep enough to do it. And Giannis right now, as you've probably seen, Giannis is the best player in the NBA, and it's clear, and it's a lot to do with his two-way ability. He hold defense just like he play offense, man. Shaq is right. He reminds me of Shaquille O'Neal in regard to the dominance at the position. He do dominate at that position, man. He don't got to be the biggest, but he like one of the strongest. He don't got to have a jump shot because he can score in the paint. So Milwaukee does the thing that they do that I don't like is I know people talk about adjustments with Budenhauser, how he doesn't make adjustments when they have certain sets, the sets break down and everything. That doesn't matter as much when you got the veteran leadership that you got out there. Because when things go wrong, Giannis has been in the league, 10 years now? He can say, no, do this, and do this. And he can tell people where they need to go. And then Chris Middleton is out there kind of directing traffic as well. The reason I think they're going to win the East, because I don't see Philadelphia really doing anything. And I know it's a long season, and you probably gonna dig this film up later when I say the Bucks can win the East. If somebody else go ahead and win the East, but I really believe that the Bucks got a good shot to win because they got the best player in the league, dog. It's not even close in my opinion. I don't think it's anybody even close to him in regard to experience, in regard to health. I mean, he hasn't really been hurt. He got hurt during the finals run, and he still came back. So I think that the Bucks gonna be tough to beat because they hold defense, dog. They don't have no egos. They hold defense. They don't have no egos. Giannis don't got to take the last shot. Middleton takes the last shot. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. So that's my opinion. I think they're gonna win the East just because they would have won the East last year if Chris wouldn't have got hurt. I think it's obvious.
Very interesting. Listen, if you're having a problem seeing the show, go to the YouTube and watch it. I shared the YouTube. I see Facebook is kind of they're doing the doohickey on my devices down here, so I can only imagine people may be encountering issues. I did share the YouTube feed. I knew something was going on wrong. I knew something was, if you're having problems seeing it, let me know. Because Facebook plays these games, and I don't know, maybe I've been a little bit too vocal about agreeing with certain things and being standing on certain things, but it's all good. It's all good. It's I always tell people this: hate me for who I am, don't love me for who I'm not. Right? If you truly know me and you know me well, and you say, I just don't like that motherfucker, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have a problem more often than not if you saying it and you don't even know me, you've never had a conversation with me, and you just saying it and heard somebody else say it. Then I'd be like, well, motherfucker, what's the issue? If you know me real well and you say, I don't fuck with you, Kev, I say, cool, I understand. It is what it is. I probably did whatever you said I did. I probably did it to you anyway. So if you say, hey, you hit me back my head, well, I did.
You trucked somebody in 2000.
I mean, I knocked a lot of people out on and off the field. So it's not like, it's not like I'm totally innocent. So it's not, I've not, one thing I've not done in life is tried to be a good guy. Until I had kids, I didn't try to be a good guy. Until I became a father. Once I became a father, I said, you know what?
That's different.
I'm gonna change this around. Before that, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I wouldn't give a cripple crab a crutch. You can get it. It don't matter to me. People who knew me prior to that would say, yeah, he's a big ass asshole. I was, right? I mean, I still am to a certain degree. So, but it's all good, man. I know it and I can admit it, right? I'm honest with myself. So, but yeah, the Bucks, I hear you. I just didn't see them. I felt like this is the youngest the oldest young team I've ever seen in my life. Like Giannis,
Oh, this young team, I like that.
yeah, it's like, damn, they old, ain't they? Like, I mean, they don't look like the young.
But they not.
I watch other teams. They got a bunch of young cats jumping out the gym and da 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 da. And the Bucks just like, oh shit, oh Middleton, like, oh Middleton moved like he sore, right, right.
Like, what is this doing?
My arm, nigga. But he be having 34 and shit. Like, it's like, damn, yo. So I didn't see them make the upgrades. And then I looked at, but the problem with a lot of teams, the NBA right now has no lack of athletes. I think this is the most gifted athletes they've ever had in the NBA. You got some phenomenal athletes.
Never seen nothing quite like this.
Nothing like it. I mean, parity is real, right? But the problem is chemistry, right? Just because you got a bunch of motherfuckers who can play, don't mean they can play together.
No,
right?
Not at all.
Steve Kerr and Golden State they have chemistry. They have a locker room, so you can bring in whoever you want. Nobody's breaking that up. There's really no other team close to it in the league. That, I mean, you take these teams and you put a bunch of people together and you say, man, we should be good, and then y'all ain't fit because you don't have any chemistry.
So true too. It's so true. That chemistry is actually the most important thing.
It is, and like you said, that veteran leadership of
I love it.
Right, hey man, sit your ass down. We got it. It's my sit down. I'm cool. As opposed to the whole goddamn team going crazy oh shit, what we gonna do now? And it's like, nah, we just chill. We don't do that here. Be cool. And so I don't know if they'll win the title. I have to see.
It's too early to tell. We just hope they do.
Man, I gotta see. Because New Jersey started out bad, Boston started out good, but then they lost. And I don't know how.
That's another topic.
The Ume,
that's another topic.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to go because I'd like to address that so bad. We can save that for next week, I guess.
Uncle Luke is their head coach, right? So,
bro,
shake them things, bump them things. Right, he all in the locker room. Man. You celebrating too hard, coach.
Bro.
So
they railroaded him. In addition to his bad decision making, at the same time.
Yeah,
he's silly, dog. He's silly. He's silly.
White woman, that Mormon white woman. He didn't just get a white woman; he got a Mormon.
But the thing is, that wasn't the only one he was tapping. No.
Knocking down everybody's wife.
Oh right? Yeah, no. Apparently, it gets worse.
Habitual line stepper, right? Like if it was all consensual, though, I don't. Suspend him a couple weeks. I mean, as long as he ain't take nothing, rape nothing, shake nothing. If he wasn't super aggressive, like, wow, bitch, give it to me.
And apparently he wasn't.
So what are we talking about here? Like,
we talking about practice?
Right. Obviously, right. Or we talking about after practice?
After practice?
No, Nia was on location doing a movie. I was good. And people say he was married. He wasn't married to Nia Long. He was engaged, so technically still single. That's all I'm.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna let you go, man. I want to make sure people are seeing the show. And I got to figure out what this issue is because there's no way in the hell we have one person with us. So. That's I'm looking at people.
This was a test run anyway.
Right. I'm looking at people in the chat room, though. It's people in the chat room commenting. So how could we have one motherfucker like that?
No, we don't. We don't. It's more than that.
I didn't say anything anti-Semitic, Trevor.
No.
So we'll talk, and then we got to get you on Outlaw Radio so we can really attack some of these social issues.
Oh, it's on. It's on. I might have to do it from my car because I'll be moving. Like if you look, so everybody see that I really do be moving. Like there's my computer. That's how I be doing stuff. That's where all my fighting gear is and all that stuff for the training. And I'm right here talking to Big Kev on Outlaw. Well, I'm gonna say Outlaw Radio. This is not Outlaw Radio today. This is the Big Black Sports Show. Absolutely. At the YMCA.
Right. Now when is your show on?
I actually come on Monday through Wednesdays. I record new episodes, but it's never live, so you can go access it at Spreaker Radio, iHeartRadio, and it's like a few other platforms. You know how they steal your podcast? They steal your podcast and they put it on other stuff. So if you just Google ENC Jordan or Apex News Undone, I'll come up.
Okay, I used to be on Spreaker. I was on Spreaker for a couple years, actually.
I like Spreaker. Spreaker is cool. Spreaker
I
is
like
dope.
Spreaker. Spreaker just didn't offer me what StreamYard did in terms of presentation.
StreamYard is dope, and I
Yeah,
know quite a few people that use StreamYard and SteamYard, right?
StreamYard.
StreamYard is phenomenal. It really is. I like it a lot, actually.
Look for the duck. It's a lot of bells and whistles for amateurs such as myself.
You ain't no amateur.
I want to thank my brother for coming. I want to thank you all for listening. I'm gonna share the show a million times tonight.
Heck yeah.
Hit share, hit follow. Very poignant episode. And as them old folks in Mississippi say, you'll understand it better by and by. I just want everybody to know, man, we'll be here. I mean, whatever issues Facebook and I have, we've been able to work them out in the past because it is what it is. And if they kick me off of there, I'll find another way to do it because I didn't
Rumble.
Facebook.
Rumble.
Right. So we'll do it. But in the meantime and in between in the meantime and in between time, I want people to understand if you are a member of this community, you're either with us or you are against us. You got to be
true.
Either you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And I always tell people to quote the great Willie Dennis when he says, if your criticism of the Black community outweighs your contribution, you probably home.
You mean Candace? All right,
These niggas wishy-washy, snitchy like they got shit. I remember back to days on money in my pocket. Now I'm styling like a rich nigga's closet. Now hear my Samuel Hill voice. What's in your wallet? I got that fire. I got that fire. I got that fire.